Hello, this is Debbie Walker and it is the annual RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch 2023 and today is the 28th of January 2023 and I am here in my garden to participate in the annual RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch. I've lived here for just over a year, so my garden is still maturing, which I am slowly turning into a wildlife garden, and I have been building up my bird feeding station since summer 2022, and I have been feeding the birds every day, and the birds have been visiting my feeders, and it's been a delight to see the birds visiting my feeders. And I would like to talk about my bird feeding station and how I maintained that, and talk about how I'm going to participate in the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch 2023. I requested an RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch pack for 2023 for the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch survey weekend, and on the envelope it states "Together, let's make it count," in which participants around the country in England will be taking part in the Big Garden Birdwatch as citizen scientists. And it also states "Connect to nature and play your part," because the information that we collect we send to the Big Garden Birdwatch team at the RSPB, and that tells the RSPB through the data that's being collected from the birds that people have sighted in the gardens about what's happening in the ecosystem around the country. So a lovely picture of a blackbird there. I received an envelope to put my results in. It's free postage, or I can put a stamp if I wish to. I received a letter to say thank you for participating in the Big Garden Birdwatch, how to get my garden birdwatch ready, and 20% off free and free delivery if you wish to treat yourself to anything from the RSPB, or you want to treat the birds, or treat the birds and yourself. I got this guide I'm not the most amazing vlogger. I don't vlog very often. So I got this guide, which is lots of different species of birds that you may see in your garden. And taking part is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So it gives you information on how you can take part in the Big Garden Birdwatch. There's this guide, and it's also good to keep for reference. I received a poster to spread the word. And this is my results sheet, and it's a very handy results sheet because it's got a picture of the differing species of birds, such as the blackbird and the blue tit, and it shows you what the birds look like. So it's a really good guide, as well as it being a sheet to record your results on. Now this sheet will be sent back to the RSPB once I've filled it in, and once I've done my Big Garden Birdwatch. And there's a space here. Did you see any other birds in your hour? And you don't have to do it at home, you can also do it in another green space. So it states, if you didn't do Big Garden Birdwatch at home, where did you do it? So you can do it in a green space, such as a park, or you can do it in your garden. It's up to you. So that's my Big Garden Birdwatch pack. So once I've collected my data of the birds that I see in my garden, I will post this sheet with my results on it to the RSPB. You can post your results online or submit your results online, but due to sometimes websites having issues, I prefer to post my results. That's just my own personal preference. So I'm looking forward to taking part in the Big Garden Birdwatch. For the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch Survey 2023, I decided to treat myself, and I bought myself a few items, and here is the box, and it's like a little goodie pack. So in my box is a robin, birds with real bird calls. So this is an RSPB robin. And if you press the back, it makes the sound of a robin, and that's just so cute. I also bought a kingfisher. It's an RSPB kingfisher, and this one's got little feet on the bottom, and it's beautiful colours. If I press its back, it makes the sound of a kingfisher. That one was quite quiet, so I will try again. So that one is also really cute. There's my little canine pal here, Leo. Hello, Leo. I also bought an RSPB cup, which has got all the differing, well, not all, it's got the differing species of birds that you're more likely to see in your garden. And my canine pal is very interested, aren't you? Yes. So this is my Big Garden Birdwatch cup, and it has the RSPB logo just here, which states giving nature a home. Which I think is really, I think it's a fantastic cup with all the differing species of birds on there. And I also bought myself an RSPB handbook of garden wildlife for reference. So it's fully illustrated and it's full of useful information. So these are my Big Garden Birdwatch treats. I decided to get the kingfisher because when I walk down the waterways, my quest is to get a photo of a kingfisher someday. I've seen them dashing across the water, but I've not yet managed to get a photograph of a kingfisher. And I decided to get a robin because the robin is one of the regular visitors to my garden. So these are my two mascots for the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch 2023. As well as my canine pal Leo. So in this hanging feeder I have white sunflower hearts, which are very high in energy, and I give them the feeder a shake to make sure that the seeds are flowing. I use a little tray hanging feeder which has got sunflower hearts in it and some dried mealworms, and I also use a suet cylinder which is also high in energy, and you can see how the birds have been on top of the cylinder to nibble at the suet. And I also give the birds fresh water every day, put some more water in it so that the birds have got some fresh water for the rest of the day. The next feeder I use is a ground feeder for the ground feeding birds such as collared doves, wood pigeons, blackbirds, starlings, any birds that find it difficult to use hanging feeders, so that all differing types of birds get a chance of some food. I use dry mealed worms, sunflower hearts, seed mix, and I've never tried these before, but I've decided to give them a go today. Some mealworm suet pellets which I'm going to put in my ground feeding tray. I disinfect my ground feeder tray and then let it air out, and then I fill it up the next day. So I'm going to put some mealworms in here. These are dried mealworms. I've never tried these before, so I'm going to put some mealworm suet pellets in here. With this ground feeder, it's usually, the birds have usually emptied it by the end of the day. I can't get I know what I'll do. I like to measure out the food because I don't want to put out more than what the birds can eat. I also add birdseed mix, which is a mixture of differing types of birdseed, as the name suggests. I am also going to add sunflower hearts. Then I'm going to mix it all together and spread it around the ground feeder so that there's lots of room around the table. And this mix is a very high energy mix full of proteins and fat that is a supplement to the bird's natural diet, especially during adverse weather conditions. And I feed the birds year round. And on the back of the mealworm pellets, it states why it's important to feed, well, it's on the side of the mealworm pellets. It states why it's important to feed the birds year round. Why do we feed birds? I can't pick it up. Why do we feed birds all year round? They suggest in the spring adult birds need plenty of food to keep their energy levels up as they raise their young. In the summer, hot weather can mean the ground bakes hard and natural water sources can dry up. And in autumn, birds need to build their weight ready for cold winter ahead. And in winter, snow, ice and windy weather makes finding food difficult. So it's very important to feed the birds year round. And these are some of the birds that may come to your garden, such as the blue-tipped blackbird, sparrow, wren, starling, song thrush, robin and bullfinch if you're lucky. The bullfinch is a very rare sight to see in some gardens. I've not seen a bullfinch in my garden yet, so I'm going to place this bird feeding tray just under the feeders, ready for the birds to enjoy. And then I'm going to do my big garden bird watch from inside my house. And there's my bird feeding station ready for the birds. Today is the 29th of January 2023, and today I participated in the annual RSPB Garden Birdwatch from home. And I'm here in my kitchen, and in my kitchen I'm lucky enough to have some patio windows in which I can see the view of my whole garden, including my feeders. Grey squirrel feeding from the bottom bird tray there, and I've really enjoyed watching the birds. Today it's been very relaxing just to take an hour and just relax and watch the birds, and it's been comical watching their antics too. Yesterday I spoke about how I was going to prepare for the Big Garden Birdwatch, and today I participated in the Big Garden Birdwatch. A workstation here full of resources, and I used these binoculars to have a close-up look at the birds, and these are RSPB puffin binoculars, and these are great binoculars to use in the garden or even in the field for identifying birds. You don't have to spend loads of money on specialized binoculars. This is from the puffin range of the RSPB puffin range, and that's the logo for the puffin range, and here is the RSPB logo, and they are fantastic binoculars at a reasonable price. So I've really enjoyed watching the birds close up. The detail that I've seen through these binoculars has been amazing. I've had these binoculars for a few years now, and the detail that I've seen of the birds in my garden has been amazing. I've also been using this book as a guide. It says the Big Garden Birdwatch. Participate in the RSPB's popular Big Garden Birdwatch during the last weekend in January and make your garden birds part of the world's biggest survey of birds. And then these are all house sparrows, and then if you turn the page, there is a guide of birds that you might see in your garden. And then there's a profile of some birds that you might see in your garden. And that's the front cover of the book, and it's a really useful book to have for the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch. I did buy myself a new book this year, which I think I mentioned yesterday, which is the RSPB Handbook of Garden Wildlife, which I'm really looking forward to reading. I bought myself a couple of mascots, which was this robin, I think I mentioned yesterday also. I've had these on my table, and my kingfisher. And what I got for my Big Garden Bird Watch pack, the bird guide, I have stuck here with blue tack so I can refer to the bird guide about the differing birds that are visiting my garden. And of course, you have to have a cup of tea or coffee, but for me it's tea. And this is my RSPB cup. I've still got a shortcake biscuit left, but I've indulged myself a bit today. So the birds that I've seen today in my hour is one blackbird, 2 wood pigeons, 1 starling, 1 dunnock, 1 robin, 1 blue tit, and 1 magpie. And it's been really interesting watching the birds' behaviours and how they behave with each other, and it's been very comical, and it's been a real enjoyable experience, and it's just been nice to just sit and relax and watch the birds for an hour. So my highlight species has to be the magpie and the starling. I know that the magpie has a bad reputation, but I think the magpie is a beautiful bird, and it's very acrobatic and it's enjoyable to watch. And the magpie is quite shy, so it's great to see the magpie in my garden. And the starlings are just beautiful. The starlings are on the red list, on the RSPB red list, and sadly, but they are absolutely beautiful, and I was really happy to see a starling. So what I need to do now is transfer these results, this raw data here, onto this results page for the RSPB. This is the RSPB's new logo, just here. So it says how to record what you saw. Please record the highest number of each bird species that you saw at any one time in the boxes below. So if you spotted a group of 8 starlings and towards the end of your hour you saw 6 together, please record 8 on this form as your final count. The reason this is because you could be counting the same bird, and you don't want to be counting the same bird. So for example, I saw more than 1 starling in my garden, but I didn't see them in my garden at the same time. I only saw 1 starling in my garden at one time. If I'd written 2 starlings, I could have counted the same starling twice. So that's why they ask you to do that. So I need to record my results. So I saw one blackbird, I saw 2 wood pigeons, I saw 1 starling, which is here, I saw 1 dunnock, which is here, I saw 1 robin, one blue tit, and a magpie. And I saw 1 magpie at one time. So I need to fill in the rest of the form, and then I need to post this form to the RSPB, and I have very much enjoyed participating in the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch,